The first notice showed up on my door at 7:12 a.m. on a Tuesday. It was taped crooked, half covering the peephole, printed in bold black ink with the HOA logo at the top. No envelope, no knock, just a paper flapping in the morning breeze. Unapproved trash bin placement, violation 1. Correct immediately to avoid further action. I hadn't even taken the trash out yet. I pulled the paper down, read it again, and looked down the row of townhouses. Every unit had the same bins lined up near the garage doors. Mine was exactly where it had been for 6 years. Across the street, Karen was already outside. She stood on her driveway with a clipboard, phone in hand, sunglasses on, scanning houses like she was on patrol. She saw me holding the notice. She waved. Not a friendly wave, a short, sharp flick of her wrist. I walked over. "What's this?" I asked, holding the paper up. Karen smiled without moving her lips. "HOA violation, trash bins must not be visible from the street except on collection day." "It is collection day," I said. "Collection starts at 9, she replied. "Bins go out after 8:30. "That rule never been enforced," I said. "It is now," she said, tapping her clipboard. "We're cleaning things up." "Did you write this?" I asked. "I reported it," she said. "The board issued it." "You're not on the board," I said. "I'm on the Architectural and Compliance Committee," she said. "Different authority." I looked back at my driveway. "So what happens if I don't move it?" She shrugged. "Escalation, fines, formal warning, possibly a hearing." "For a trash bin?" I asked. "For compliance failure," she corrected. Then she turned and walked back to her house, already typing on her phone. By noon, 3 more notices appeared on doors up and down the block. Same font, same wording, same crooked tape job. By Friday, it was clear Karen wasn't done. She started with the cars. On Saturday morning, a bright orange sticker was slapped on my neighbor Mike's windshield. "Unauthorized vehicle parking, 24-hour notice." Mike knocked on my door holding the sticker. "My truck registered," he said. "Always has been." "Karen," I said. We walked over together. Karen was in her driveway again. "You can't park a commercial vehicle overnight," she said before Mike even spoke. "It's a pickup," Mike said. "No signage." "It has a ladder rack," she said. "Commercial modification." "That rack been there 5 years," Mike said. "Rules change," Karen said. "Adapt." "Show me the rule," Mike said. Karen flipped her clipboard and read, Section 4.3, subsection C. Mike pulled out his phone and opened the HOA PDF. That subsection was removed last year. Karen didn't miss a beat. Board reinstated it. "When?" I asked. "At the last meeting," she said. "No one voted on that," Mike said. Karen smiled again. "Emergency measure." By Sunday night, a tow warning was taped to Mike's door. Monday morning, the tow truck showed up. Mike ran outside in socks as they lifted the back wheels. "You can't do this," he shouted. The driver pointed to the work order, HOA authorization. Karen stood on her porch watching. Mike called the HOA office, no answer. The truck drove off. That afternoon, Mike got an email from the HOA manager saying the tow was under review. The fee was $385. He never got it refunded. After that, people started paying attention. Karen began walking the neighborhood twice a day, morning and evening, clipboard always in hand, phone camera out. She cited flower pots that were too large, welcome mats that weren't neutral color, kids' chalk drawings on driveways, a basketball hoop that had been there since before she moved in. She issued warnings for garage doors being open longer than necessary. One afternoon, she stopped my wife while she was unloading groceries. "Garage door needs to be closed immediately after entry," Karen said. "I'm carrying food," my wife said. "That's not an exemption," Karen replied. My wife shut the door and came inside. That night, another notice appeared. This one had a fine amount listed, $75. I emailed the HOA board. No response. I went to the next HOA meeting. Karen sat in the front row. The board president, Tom, opened the meeting and went straight to new business. Karen stood up without being called on. "We have a compliance problem," she said. "Residents have grown comfortable ignoring rules." Someone muttered, "Because they're stupid rules." Karen ignored it. I've documented over 60 violations in the last 2 weeks. Tom cleared his throat. Karen, maybe we. If we don't enforce consistently, the rules mean nothing, she said. Property values suffer. I raised my hand. Yes, Tom said. Who authorized Karen to issue fines? I asked. She doesn't issue fines, Tom said. She reports violations. I have a fine notice signed by her, I said, holding it up. Karen turned. I sign as reporting officer. That's not a thing, someone said from the back. Tom looked uncomfortable. Karen, maybe we should slow down. Karen shook her head. That's exactly the problem, weak enforcement. Mike stood up. You towed my truck without board approval. Karen crossed her arms. You violated parking rules. That rule doesn't exist, Mike said. Karen looked at Tom. We discussed this. Tom sighed. We discussed reviewing it. Karen snapped. That's not what you said. The room got loud. Tom banged the gavel. We'll table this. Karen sat down hard. The next morning, the notices doubled. Every house on the street had at least one. Some had 3. People started texting each other pictures. Karen began sending emails from a new address, compliance at. The tone was formal and aggressive. Failure to respond will result in escalation. Noncompliance noted. Final warning. She sent one to me about my mailbox. Mailbox paint inconsistent with community standard. It was the same mailbox I'd had since moving in. I replied asking for the standard. She replied with a screenshot of a document dated 3 days earlier. New rule. By week 3, people were angry. By week 4, people were scared of fines stacking up. Someone reported Karen for harassment. The HOA sent out a general email asking residents to remain respectful. Karen replied all. Compliance is not harassment. Then she started using her phone camera openly. She photographed yards, driveways, windows. One night, she stood at the edge of my property taking pictures. Stop, I said. I'm documenting, she replied. Get off my driveway. It's visible from the street. You're on my driveway. She stepped back half an inch and kept taking photos. 2 days later, I got a hearing notice. Failure to attend will result in automatic fine. The hearing was scheduled for 10 a.m. on a weekday. When I arrived, Karen was already there with a folder. Tom looked exhausted. Karen presented her case. She read violations one by one. Trash bin, mailbox, garage timing, hostile interaction with compliance officer. That's not a violation, I said. It's disruptive behavior, she said. Tom rubbed his temples. Karen. Rules require cooperation, she said. I asked to see the vote approving these new rules. There wasn't one. Tom admitted it. Karen argued emergency authority. The board disagreed. The fines were paused. Karen didn't like that. The next day, she sent violation notices to the entire block. Same reason listed for everyone, pattern of noncompliance. Someone called a lawyer. The lawyer sent a letter. The HOA scheduled a special meeting. Karen showed up late. Tom read the letter out loud. Unauthorized enforcement, selective targeting, potential liability. Karen stood up. So you're siding with rule breakers? We're siding with the bylaws, Tom said. The board voted to suspend committee authority pending review. Karen slammed her folder shut. She walked out. For 2 weeks nothing happened. No notices, no emails, no photos. Then a certified letter arrived at my door. From Karen's personal attorney. Cease and desist from defamation and harassment. She claimed residents were conspiring against her. The HOA sent another email distancing themselves. Karen stopped attending meetings. Her porch light stayed on at night. Her blinds stayed closed. The conflict didn't end cleanly. Some fines were quietly dropped. Some weren't. The rules stayed confusing. Karen still lived there. She just stopped using the clipboard. For now. The last thing anyone got was a generic HOA warning about future enforcement consistency. No apology. No resolution. Just quiet, tense normal life with the understanding that it could start again any day.